Dad, I've got something to tell you. I'm transsexual. You're a man! I've had a few people spit on me. I've had fights on public transport.
The actual surgery itself, you wake up and look down.
It's just cosmetic. There's no depth. You can't have sex with me. I'm a doll. I can't say I feel like a woman. I don't know what a woman feels like. And I wouldn't want to take anything away from something that I would have loved to have been.
Have you ever slept with a woman? Because you've got to make sure, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I was going in hard.
That's perverse.
Don't you dare. Genuine transsexual women are considerate. They're considerate of women's spaces.
How do you go to toilet? How do you go for a wee?
If you've got a penis, you've got no right being in the ladies' toilet. A man self-IDing as a woman, as a lesbian, with a penis, going into a woman's bar.
It gets very complicated.
You're standing up there with a dick, and there's women there that should have got that award. I would love to have had a child, Liam.
As a mum or a dad, anybody that wants to stand up and put their cock on the block, no pun intended.
Dylan Mulvaney, he did Days of Girlhood. Days of Girlhood? Aren't you a man?
Yeah, what the fuck would you know about girlhood? I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, Gold Seal. I use their products every single day, and now I finally get to work with them. I use their products for anti-inflammatory, reduced anxiety, better sleep, and mental clarity. I'm going to put a link to their website in the description, along with a 10% discount code for you to take advantage of. Go and have a look at their website, see if there's anything in there for you. I hope you enjoy this week's episode, and good health. Sam.
Liam.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Powerful story and a powerful message, and one that is alien to me. So you're a trans woman, but you're well aware that you're a man, but you're anti-trans ideology. So we're going to discuss that, your transition, how we can keep children safe, and the sinister undertone of the trans movement that the UK, well, actually the world, the West in particular, seems to be plagued with. But I want to get an idea of your background, and people watching and listening would also want to know, you know, how you ended up here, completely transitioned. So can we touch base on your childhood, your parents' traits, and when you first felt feminine? So tell me about your parents' traits.
They were great parents. Looked after us. My mother was a mama bear. Great providers. We weren't cash rich, but we were looked after. We were looked after. A lot of love in the house. Great childhood.
Who was the more dominant parent, mum or dad?
My mum was with us all day. She was a stay-at-home mum. My dad obviously worked all the time, great provider. So yeah, my mum.
And what, are you from an estate?
I was born in New Addington, just outside Croydon.
And that is a rough estate, isn't it?
Yes, it was a council estate.
Mm.
It was a melting pot, but it was but we all came together. Do you know what I mean? It was a good place to live, good childhood.
Brothers and sisters?
3 brothers. I was born in 71, summer of 71, but we were born like 1, 2 and 3. So
Right.
1, 2, 3, and there was a gap and 6 years, and then my brother was born. So 4 of us.
So there's 4 of you in total.
Yeah, 4 boys.
And I'm assuming before the transition, you come out as gay.
I did.
What about your 3 brothers? Straight or gay?
Straight as a die. All got kids.
And when did you first feel like you were female or you'd prefer to be female, a girl? I'm assuming it was young.
My first memory of wanting to be or feeling different, because I don't want to sit here and say, feel like a girl, because how would I know what that feels like? I don't know what that feels like. I know I felt different. I know I felt different from my brothers. I don't know what it was, an intuition, a feeling. I don't want to say female intuition because I'll get in trouble. But do you know what I mean? But I had a spidey sense. I don't know. And I remember one time I said to my brother, say I'm your sister. Now, you imagine growing up somewhere like that. My family were quite tough, rough and tough. So that was never going to wash. Never going to wash.
No.
So he said to me, shut up, or something like that. So I don't know. I think I innately knew that this, whatever it was, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm a child. I'm a baby. How can you don't know what's going on up here.
Did you crack them in the end? Did they start treating you or calling you girls' names?
No, I mean, Actually, I can remember another time before that. Actually, I don't remember this. This is a given memory. My mum said when I was about 4, she took me shopping and I wanted a pink pram. So she bought it for me. And years later, she said that my dad, when she got home and my dad got home, he said to her, "Why did you buy him that?" And my mum just said, "Because he wanted it." My brother actually reminded me of this lately. He said, "You're actually pushing a brick around in that pram." I don't remember any of this. So yeah, that's my first memory of feeling feminine. And then they didn't buy into it, obviously, because I then just you shut it down. You don't know what it is. You shut it down and you move on.
Yeah, as a father myself, if my boy was to say, "I feel like a girl," or "I feel different," or "I want a pink pram," you would just think, "Oh, it's a phase. It must be something on school or something." Nowadays, something they've seen on their iPad and it will pass. But obviously, that didn't happen. Was there any early signs with you of OCD, ADHD, autism, any mental health disorders with respect?
Not that I knew of at the time. Never diagnosed. My life was relatively. I didn't have any problems. I didn't have any issues in that regard, mental health wise. Only later on in life when the dysphoria really started to get a hold, I would say.
Was there any abuse in your childhood or even adulthood?
Yeah, I was between 8 and 11 and a half, I think. 11 and a half, 8. Yeah, 3 different people over that period of time. But prison sentences were handed out to them. Okay.
So that's 3 different people. Were they family members or non-family members?
Not immediate family members. One of them was a friend of the family. And another one was a man in a public toilet.
What was the first?
First one, I was very, very young. And it wasn't an immediate family member. I don't really want to say too much about that because I find that really painful. And I'm going to be quite honest, I don't really want to cause any crap in my family.
Okay.
And I love my family dearly. But that was dealt with to a point.
Were they all men that assaulted you?
Yeah.
What about the second occasion? Can you speak about that?
The second occasion, I must have been 10 and a half, I think. And this predator wiggled his way into my family. He was a very short man, my recollection. He actually was a short man because years later something happened and I saw him. And he would come over to our house. He had a little dog called Lucky. You know, you got a dog. You know, the kids play with the dog, right? Lucky. Little poodly thing. Lovely little dog. And he would come over our house and obviously my mum's got 4 kids running around. They're at school. My mum was very popular. And I think we got a lot of our character from my mum because my mum was so gregarious. So anyway, they would come around the house. They'd be in the kitchen smoking. You'd walk into, it's the 80s. Kitchen's full of smoke, cups of tea going. The women are chatting. I would always be on the edge because I was always drawn to the ladies, no matter who they were. But yeah, anyway, he would come round, and he was a local mechanic, and so everybody used him. And he used to drive this big, massive black Granada. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
One of those. And I think one day he said to my mum, "Does Sam want to come and do some cleaning?" And I went over there. And there was already people there in the flat when I went over, adults. And I remember this one specific time I went over, and I think it's where they kind of they want to make everything feel normal. So when I walked in the first time, there was a porn film on. I never knew what it was, but it ended up being Flesh Gordon, not Flash, Flesh. I can't laugh. It was actually a funny film.
And there's Flesh Gordon 2 as well.
Is there really?
Yes.
Now I can look back now and laugh at that film. It's actually hilarious. So yeah, I'd go over there and. the first time it ever happened, he was in the bedroom, very dark. And as I came in, he said, shut the door, which I did. He's the adult in the room. And he was in bed, and I walked in, and he said, and I sat on the end of the bed, and he said, come up here. So I don't know, I instinctively went, but also bearing in mind I've already been previously abused. So this to me really is nothing new.
Did it almost seem just like a normal thing to do?
I don't even know if it's normal, I don't.
Or you just didn't question it much?
I didn't question it, I just went with it, I guess. And I sidled up and laid next to him, and he put my arm around him, and then, he put his arm around me, and then he slowly moved his arm like down, and he had an erection, and something ensued, and then that was my first experience of John Thornton of Chertsey Crescent, New Addington.
I'm hoping he's one of the 3 that got convicted.
Yes, I think he got 9.5 years. And my mother told me years later, she sat me down one day, I think it was before I come out or after I came out, I can't remember. And she sat me down and she said, John Thornton got 9.5 years in prison. And he was part of a very large, I didn't have to go to court. Thank God. Because that would have fucked my life up royally.
Part of a ring?
Yeah, huge ring. It was in all the red tops, my mum told me. Sun, Mirror. Celebrities involved, apparently. Or celebrities' parents, or a parent of a celebrity. I'm not going to say which one it was. That's not my job, but, dig about, you find out, I'm sure. But yeah, that happened. So, and then it went on over a period of time. And then I even had a bath with him. God.
So it was a full-on, extended grooming, child sexual abuse stint of time, which is, it's all just horrendous. And we walk amongst these animals.
We do. But you know something, just tagging on to that, he did try to, I was in bed with him one day, and this is why I stopped going over there. Because I don't know what it was. I was over there and I was in bed with him, and I heard the door go, and he said, "It's only Paul." He tried to make it so normal, but I instinctively ducked under the covers and I wouldn't come out. And then Paul finally left. I know what they were trying to do now. They were trying to get someone in on the action.
I mean, not that I'm watering it down by any stretch of imagination, but that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot better. So after you've experienced 2 separate people abuse you, one for an extended period of time, because you've mentioned that there's a third one in a public toilets, was you completely desensitized to sort of that kind of behaviour by then?
I had to have been. I was going to tell you about the third time, we were kids playing outside, and it was summer, playing with water balloons, and we were going into the public toilet to fill them up. And there was this gentleman masturbating at the urinal. And I glanced over, saw it, because the sink was right there. He obviously knew what he was doing. And I don't know why I even said it. The words come out of my mouth, "Do you want me to do that for you?" And even to this day, not that I think about it often, because I'm so over it to a point. These things, and this is also what I want to say here. Don't tell kids to get over sexual abuse. Or what was it Stephen Fry said recently? The people that are sexually abused should get over it.
That was
Go fuck yourself, Stephen Fry.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck yourself.
That is a terrible thing
to
say.
Was it years ago? I don't remember when he said it, but he said it.
It's a terrible thing to say in or out of context.
Right, doesn't matter. No. You said it. Those words come out of your mouth. And I don't care whatever child you are, that is going to stay with you forever. You may not dwell on it, you may move on, but it's parked, right? It's always there, never leaves you, right? And the same goes for saying to children, or staying within earshot of children that have been sexually abused. Don't you dare ever peddle that lie that the abused becomes the abuser.
I actually felt really bad the second after I said it could have been worse. I actually felt bad. It's like, as a human being, you sort of say things sometimes without really thinking it through. So how on earth can someone like Stephen Fry actually make a statement like that when I know that if you don't tread carefully, it's lose-lose.
Right, but when you make a statement like that, I then got a question mark. Right, if you're saying something like that.
I actually put a tweet out about Stephen Fry's comment, and I said, for a man of his intelligence to come out of a statement like that, it makes me very suspicious about him. Right. What is he hiding? Right. Why is he trying to water it down and almost normalise it like it's something that shouldn't be spoke or moaned about?
That's a good segue into talking about MAPS.
MAPS?
MAPS, M-A-P-S.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which, for those who don't know, they're trying to soften the language. Minor attracted persons. You can't say pedophiles anymore. You're not allowed to. And I don't understand why they're doing that. Why can't we use that word pedophiles?
There should be a more stronger demonising word just to make it crystal clear what these people are.
Yeah, because it's happened to me. I'm not inciting violence on anyone, and I wouldn't want to. But I can understand how a father or a mother would feel a certain way.
If somebody abused your child sexually, you would be in favour of capital punishment being reintroduced. 100%.
I don't know why we don't now anyway.
Me neither. We're on the same page. And I want to come back to the public toilet, but what I will say is, and you got me thinking, you said something that made me think, cool. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but we now know the world is a fucking crazy place.
Right.
And where they're introducing MAP as opposed to paedophile, it makes you think, is there a higher level, higher echelon of pervert that is helping to push this agenda, helping it creep in, edging it in?
Yeah, I think there's something...
and I'm not accusing Stephen Fry of that. I'm just saying, is it possible?
I think it's very possible. Because if you look at the stats, right? I mean, listen, I love men. I mean, I got this statement. I am a heterosexual, transsexual woman, not a woman, a man. I love men. Am I going off track here?
It makes sense. And it's important that you let people that are watching and listening know, A, who you are, and B, who you think you are. Because a lot of people, if someone's just come in, say, 15 minutes in, we all assume that trans women think they're women. And I've not heard anybody other than you say that I'm a trans woman, but I'm a man.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
I live in reality. And I don't think it's right. Because I've always said, as I said earlier, I can't say I feel like a woman. I don't know what a woman feels like. And I wouldn't want to take anything away from something that I would have loved to have been, you know. And I feel women have every right at the moment to feel a little bit fearful. And it goes back to the MAPS thing, like these predators, like the fetishist transvestites. And even like we've got autogynephiles now. For those that don't know, autogynephilia is a small percentage where they have surgery to because they get turned on by the thought of having a vagina and a pair of breasts.
Did that ever cross your mind? Was you ever turned on by the thought of being a woman?
Never in my life. I remember years ago, I was a child, and I remember, and I've only done this once, because somebody put a rumour out about me years ago. I'm not going to say anything about it, but they said that I tried on their underwear when I stayed at their house. They were being malicious, Liam, right? It never happened, right? And even years later, that stuck with me, because when I came out as transsexual to my family, I had to say to my brother, by the way, that never happened. Even though I'm coming out to you now, that never happened. That's a lie. Because when I was a child, back to your question, I remember once I tried on my mum's hosiery, tights. I only got them half on, and I felt weird. It felt odd. So I was not that. I was not none of that. I'm not the sort of person that, like, you hear them like talking about they'll dress up like their mother and then they'll masturbate in the dress because they're all turned on by it. Never in the slightest. That's not me. That's not who I am. I don't have a sexual bone in my body, Liam, since I've transitioned.
We're going to come to that. Let's complete your story. So we go back to the public toilets where
Right.
that guy was performing a sexual act in front of you, and then you said to
Yeah.
him, "Would you
Oh,
like
yes.
would you like me to do that?"
Yeah. So obviously, of course he did. That was the aim of the game, right? So went into the cubicle. He got his todger out. An interaction. Something happened. I didn't go down on him. Nothing like that. I just masturbated him, basically. And he gave me £6 coins, which at the time was a lot of money. Back in, what we're talking? 81, 82, 83.
Was the money mentioned before you done it?
No,
Okay.
not at all. I was going to say it was a nice surprise, but because you've got to find humour in these things. I'm sorry, I do. I find humour in it. I have to find the humour in it.
I am the same, but this is your story.
I know.
And it's not for me to be humorous. But
We
if-
can be, we
but
can
if
be.
you give me the green light,
You got the green light.
Okay.
We can joke about this
let's
because it is.
let's take the edge because it's heavy.
Yes, it's heavy.
Your story is heavy, and I don't want you to think for 1 second that I am not sympathetic or empathetic or understand, because I do actually have a good idea about, even if I'll never be able to comprehend castrating myself and all the rest of it, like, I understand pain and people. So you are in good company. So I will follow your lead. You can set the tone on this one.
Thank you, Liam. I appreciate it.
So he's giving you £6
Yeah,
coins.
he's giving me £6 coins, so I've taken it, and he said, "I'll see you tomorrow." So I went home, and my house wasn't very far from the toilets. I could literally see. If I opened my bedroom window, I could see the toilets. So yeah, I went back the next day. Same interaction, gave me £6, and this went on over a period of time. Now, bearing in mind, my family were not cash rich. So we never had any money. Now, I had a very good best friend who I knocked around with from the age of 9. We were at junior school together.
Right.
And we grew up all the way to age 18 was the last time when I kicked him to the curb. So I was supposed to go, so this is going on, I'm masturbating this guy and it's going on, he's giving me £6 a time. And I was supposed to go to a Guy Fawkes evening, but I'd flew, couldn't go. So my brother went in my place. And obviously conversations had been had between my friend and my brother, and he said, "How come Sam's always got money and you haven't?" And just from that little conversation, my brother came home and mentioned it to my mum. And my mum called me downstairs. I don't even know, how long was this going on at this stage? Because I was buying like 20 fags a day. I was buying a box of chocolates. I was just trying to get rid of this money. I was like, I'd go into Croydon and I'd go into Benetton and I'd buy a Benetton jumper and a bag just to get rid of the cash. And I'd say I found it on the bus, you know. So anyway, I'm at home in bed with the flu, and my brother's come home, and my mother's called me downstairs. And she said, "Sit in the chair." And I sat down in the lounge, and she said, "Where are you getting your money from?" My nan had basically lost a scratch card. They used to come round your door and sell them door to door. She lost a scratch card, and it was a tenner on it. And when she came round to stay, and I immediately, street smarts, you know, thinking on your feet, I immediately went, "Oh, I found Nan's lottery ticket." She knew when we were lying. Like mums do, right? She just knew. And also she had an intuition of her own, which I'll get to in a minute. And she said to me, "No, you're lying. You've had too much money." I said to you, "Don't lie to me. I'll ask you again." Now, I know when my mum means business. And bearing in my dad's sitting there as well. My dad's sitting on the couch. My mum's leading the charge here. And I just blurted out, "I've been playing with the man in the toilets."
Wow. That must have taken some courage.
I was cornered, didn't I?
You could have lied.
I don't know. I don't know how my little brain wasn't. I'm not that kind of criminally minded. I'm too pure. I'm a child. I'm lying. I've been brought up not to lie, and I'm lying. And I've been beaten before. I know what a beating is.
What was your dad's reaction when you said that?
I was looking at my mum, but I could see my dad, and my dad just sat there and he ran his fingers through his hair. And then my mum said, "Did John Thornton touch you?" And I just said yes.
John Thornton was the second guy,
He was
wasn't
the
he?
second. He was the friend of the family.
Oh, wow. So the second and the third all come out at the same time?
Yeah. I never mentioned the first.
Right.
That was a family protection thing. It's funny as a child. It's really, and I've often thought about this. How a child can differentiate at that age, like it's like the protection thing. I've often thought about it. Why did I protect him? Why did I?
It's the intuition again, isn't it?
Yeah, how do you know that as a child, 11.5-year-old? How do you know how to do that?
Well, kids are far smarter than people think.
Right?
Mm.
Anyway, so I said yes. And my dad stood up and he did I can't even describe the noise. It was hard. It was hard to see my dad. And then my mum, she immediately said, "John, we're going to do this the right way." I didn't know whatever that meant, but that's what my mum said. And then I remember leaving the lounge and my brothers were standing outside the lounge door. And immediately I opened the door to go into the hallway. One of my brothers' kids, one of my brothers said, "Fucking queer," and ran up the stairs. And my other brother, John, even to this day, we spoke about it last week actually on the phone. I said, I appreciated him saying to me, he put his arm around me and he went, "It's going to be all right, bruv. It's going to be all right." And he walked me up the stairs.
Was he your favourite brother from then on?
No, because he was still an arsehole after that.
Oh.
But it was a memory that you cherish.
I needed that.
I needed it.
And what happened to this number 3 dirtbag?
Number 3
How did he get arrested?
Oh, God. The police basically said that I had to go over there and act. This is so close to, like, I probably masturbated him probably a day earlier or 2 days earlier. But in this interim period, because I had the flu, he was walking past my fucking house.
What, trying to get your attention?
We used to have net curtains in our lounge. Remember the old days, the net curtains that went like that?
Yeah.
So you could see into the house.
Yes.
Right? We had those in the lounge. And he was walking past our house looking for me. And my mum told me years later, I thought, who's that fucking stranger looking in the window?
An actual prowler.
Prowler. Because I had not been in because I had the flu. I hadn't been over to the toilet. He was walking past my house. Remember I said I could see the toilet from my window?
Mm.
He must have followed me and watched me go home.
Mm.
And also I want to add in here, he also invited me to his house. He lived in Sutton. Imagine if I'd gone to his house, I might not be here now.
Yeah, I mean, and he's coming right out of his way from Sutton to Croydon, Addington.
He was a scoutmaster. The
irony.
Right? Access to boys again. Mm-hmm. Always accessed by men and predators. Right?
Positions of trust.
They weed their way in.
So how did he get nicked?
Yeah, so basically they had to do a sting. I had to go in, act like nothing had happened. So this is so close to like, just told my mum everything's gone on. The police have come in, got it all together, and I've got to go over there, walk in, and they would have a policeman in the cubicle next door, and I would go in, and before anything happened, I would have to say, "Do you have the money for the fare?"
Right.
Code word, right? So I walked in. I don't even remember any of how I felt. I don't remember any of that.
Just autopilot.
Yeah. I don't remember any of it. I remember what happened. I remember being there. I remember it happening to me, but it's almost like I don't know.
You've disassociated from...
Yeah. You totally dissociate with it. I know it happened. That's how you deal with it, right?
Yeah.
You park it, disassociate. So, yeah.
He's giving you the...
Yeah, so he's given me the money and I walked out the toilet. As he's given me the money, all of a sudden, everyone was everywhere. Police all over the place. So I've gone outside and I've given the money to the DC or whatever he was, Detective Chief Inspector, and I just dropped the coins into his hand. And he just looked at me and turned around and said, "Oh, look, you've had a pay rise, you've got £7."
Fucking hell.
Who says that to a child? Yeah.
I mean, I know things were very different back then, but still, that is a touch much.
But I never told my parents that till years later. And my mum said, "Oh, she fucking told me that."
And how long did he get in jail?
2.5 years. I didn't have to go to court for that either. Slam dunk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank God I never had to go to no court appearances.
Do you know anything about him since? Someone like that, it just strikes me as somebody that if they get 2.5 years and they're out in 18 months, they're going to do it again.
I just moved on with my life, didn't I? I was a child. I didn't research what happened to him. He was an old man. He was dead probably not long after that.
Oh, he was old as well?
He was old. He must have been in his 70s.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay.
70s, maybe. He was a grandfather. He was a parent.
The epitome of a filthy, dirty old
Right,
man.
right. There it is right there.
What was adulthood like for you? So I'm assuming you come out as gay at how old?
22.
Come out as gay at 22. So you was living a secret life up until then?
Well, no, I went to my first gay club when I was... Because I just thought to myself, growing up, back to the gender dysphoria, I just thought, okay, even like kissing girlfriends. I don't know, it just felt odd. It felt odd to me, kissing a girl's soft lips. They didn't feel right. And even, I can't even describe, I don't know, it felt incredibly odd. I don't know if I could describe it to you. So I didn't really date. I went to my first gay club in Streatham when I was 16 called Paradise Beach Club. You know, like fake palm trees on the dance floor, very kitsch. That was my first experience, and I thought, okay, and I pulled that night.
Did you get any grief? Because, I mean, back then when people was... there was a lot of homophobia.
Oh, yeah.
And someone like Streatham as well. I used to do the door at Caesar, so I know just how rough...
Yeah, see? Oh, yes.
I know how rough Streatham is. So
right?
Did you get much stick when you went out or when you was on the street leaving the club?
No, I mean...
Brighton's understandable, but Streatham seems like, cool, that's quite...
It seems a bit odd, doesn't it?
Just seems a dangerous place for a gay person to go.
Well, no, the club was packed. I mean, to the gills. It was the first time I ever tried poppers.
Goes to... Amyl nitrate.
Oh.
I don't miss that.
I used to like it, actually. I used to love a bit of poppers.
Yeah.
That was the first night I did it on the dance floor. Some guy gave me on the dance floor.
I'd imagine a gay club just stinks of poppers,
Well,
doesn't it?
actually, yeah, it was... I remember like floating around the dance floor and I was like, oh, this is nice. And I ended up going home with a fella and he had some more poppers and it was a nice experience and I was sold.
You were gay?
I just thought, okay, I'm gay.
Have you ever slept with a woman?
Yes.
Because you've got to make sure, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to make sure, but also, and also back to what you said about the gay thing. It wasn't the thing, right? I only found out last week because of this podcast. I spoke to my brother. I told him I was doing it, and we were talking, and he said to me, "I had about 8 fights because of you." Because people were like saying, "You know, your brother's a perf, didn't you?" On the estate in New Addington. So there was a big Cunningham back in the day. There was a club called Busby's attached to it. So we got in a few rows because of me, which I never knew.
Did you ever fight back in the day?
Oh, I was made to. They made sure I had fights. I did win, but
yeah, good on you.
Marginally.
Well, before we get to you transitioning, because you seem very, very level-headed to me. I can't spot any signs of mental health at all, but there clearly is, which you'll go into. But
yes,
you probably wasn't always this happy person. So there must have been a time where you were suffering, maybe self-harming.
Oh, yes.
Again, because I've looked into, like, what's the process of the transition? And self-harm comes up a lot. So was you doing that?
100%. Total denial. Fighting it. I mean, all my life, I always, in my gay relationships, I would always make love in my head as a woman.
Right.
In my head, I'm laying there, I'm having sex, I'm a woman. They don't know this. And yeah, so that's how it lies. So yeah, the self-harm, I had a breakdown on the 5th of August, 2012. Didn't know what breakdown was, didn't know what the signs were, knew I was feeling kind of different, but I'd also stopped. I finished my last relationship in February 2010, just after Valentine's. We split up.
Right.
And I don't know, a switch went off in me and I thought, I don't really want this anymore. I was 39. I'm now 54 this year. So 39, and I thought, this isn't for me anymore. I don't know what I'm feeling. And I couldn't admit anything beyond feeling that I don't want to be gay anymore. I put the work in. I put the work in. I was pretty successful, actually. A couple of relationships, bought a home with one partner, and I owe him a huge apology. So, Matt, if you're out there, I owe you an apology, and I'm really sorry. Really sorry, Matt. He knows who he is. I'm really sorry to your parents as well. Please forgive me. Sorry, that's really stung me, that, just saying that. Because I really hurt that man. It's tough, sorry.
It's all right. Well, it's nice that you've got that kindness in you.
I never meant to hurt anyone, Liam. Never have done.
Yes, well, it's insane because I was asking you about self-harm,
Yeah.
and you can talk about yourself quite comfortably. Then you talk about harming somebody else or hurting them, and it triggers an emotional response. So let's go back.
Yeah,
Go back to you
self-harm.
to keep it on track. Self-harm. What would you do to block away the pain?
Well, after I had the breakdown, I was, when I say the breakdown, 5th of August, 2012 was when I was hospitalised. But before that, I was going through the breakdown, the build-up. So I was at home. I was, you know the stick lighters you light the barbecue with?
Mm-hmm.
I was heating that up on the stove, the gas stove, and just putting it on my face. I had it all over my face, like little rings, little circles, on my chest, on my arms. So I was doing that. That was like instant gratification because that searing heat just takes that away. It's like a euphoria.
Clocking out.
Just anything but. And then when I went to the Maudsley, it was not great. The first night I was there at the Maudsley, this is in opposite Denmark Hill, King's College. And the first night I was in there, they gave me meds, and I shit myself. And this is like the secure ward lockdown. And I had like orange pajamas on.
So you're sectioned.
I'm sectioned. The day before I was sectioned, I was at King's, and they actually had a security guard at the end of my bed.
Had you been diagnosed with any personality disorders at this stage?
Nothing. Depression, but I think that's a given. When you've been through what I've been through, I think depression is just a given.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, standard. Yeah, so I've shit myself. I've got orange pajamas. I'm literally covered in filth, excrement all over it. And you've got a little blue mattress, like a cell. Blue mattress, wardrobe in the corner, bars at the window, doors open for security reasons. And so I've shat myself, gone up to the window, and I said, have you got a towel so I can have a bath? And she said, sorry, we've got no towels, but I can give you some pajamas to dry yourself with. So that happened. I've had a bath in the thing because the bath only runs at a certain temperature for safety reasons. So I've had a bath, cleaned myself up, wiped myself down with the clean orange pajamas they gave me to wipe myself down with, no towels. And then they would come into my cell, and I would be huddled in the corner with this blanket over me, and I would just hold out their hand and just rattle a little thing here. Do you want them or not?
Meds.
Yeah. Do you want them or not? Can you fucking imagine talking to someone like that? He's going through a crisis. Do you want them or not? Right. And then I just started to self-harm again in there. I would just have roll-ups after roll-up and just sit there burning my arms. Roll up, burn, for 6 days. And then I was released after 6 days. And I came out, and I remember standing outside the Maudsley, and I just broke down. My dad was standing there, and I just had a break, I just screamed. I don't even know what happened. And then I got myself together, stopped hyperventilating, got in the car, and then my dad's coming out. How must my dad have felt? Right? I'm in the car, I'm crying, I'm like sobbing in the car, and he's driving up Denmark Hill, and I just remember clocking the light, and the light was red. And my dad went straight through the red light, and the guy from the left started to come out, and he went beep, 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 beep. And in that moment, I thought, fucking get yourself together. You're going to kill yourself and your father. Get yourself together.
Is that the reason why you decided to take the leap of faith and transition, because you were fed up of living in a body that you didn't want to be in? Is that what was causing all the pain, do you think?
Oh, 100%. I was in denial.
So what happened then other than that, at what point did you decide that you were going to have a sex change? And also, how did you announce it, and who did you announce it to? Because that's a big story. And a big deal. For everybody.
Life-changing for everybody. And yeah, I was very selfish about that at certain points. But yeah, I
Because they all love you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Liam. I think it was a culmination of things coming out. I had a friend. She was a Jehovah's Witness, 25 plus years. And went up to see her, and she'd have a, I don't know, crisis of faith, I guess, I don't know. And I went up to see her, and she said, it's all a load of bollocks. When you go, you go. Yeah, and there's nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got to enjoy my life.
If you've got one shot.
I've got one shot. And I'm not happy. And all the way home, that thought sat with me. All the way home on the bus, sat with me that night. And also, bearing in mind, I'd also been having, after the breakdown, the Maudsley referred me to a psychiatrist, Dr. Pearson. So after the breakdown, I've had 4 years of therapy.
I was going to say to you,
Right.
Where did you go? Did you go to therapy first or to tell your parents first?
Therapy first.
Okay.
But also bearing in mind, my mother sadly passed away in 2008, 29th of November.
So it's just your dad left?
Just my dad left.
Okay. Rest in peace.
Yeah, thank you, Liam. But to be honest with you, I don't know. I've thought about this. I don't know if I'd have transitioned if my mum was alive. I don't know. I don't think I could have done it to her. This sounds so bad. I can do it to my dad, but I can't do it to my mum. That sounds bad, doesn't it?
It's different.
Oh,
It's different.
But I love my mum so much, and I'm going to go off tack here a little bit, but this is really important, I think. They're going to Freud me for this one, but I was shopping with my mum once, and she had an interaction with a transsexual person. I don't know, a transvestite, whatever it was. No offence. Right.
Do you lot clash, do you?
I've got no time for them. I've got no time for them, but we'll get back to that in a minute. So we're shopping, and all of a sudden I heard my mum go, "Oh!" like that. And this woman has walked away. She's walked away, and she was in shock, right? Someone just pinched her ass, right? It's a woman, right? And has this person now scurrying away, and they're getting in the lift. And as they've got in the lift, the doors are closing, and he turned round. And my mum went, "You're a man!" Right? And I don't know why, that's always stuck with me. And that's why I think if you Freud me, someone's gone to, right? You'd probably say, I wouldn't transition because of my mum, because of that. Because I would have thought, what would my mum have thought that I was that? Whatever that was, right? So I think that kind of sits with me a little bit.
It's mental what sticks with you.
Right.
Especially when you're a kid, little seeds that plant and they just keep on growing, probably forever.
Yeah.
Until we go. There's little things that happened to me years ago, and some mean things, some don't. But no matter what, they keep reappearing every now and again. It's like, can't shake it off. It's funny what sticks and what doesn't stick as well.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows. It comes in, comes out. It just depends on what's happening in your life, No,
I get all that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So before you actually have the physical transition, the surgery, you go under the knife, because it is, it's a very brutal operation.
Yeah.
A man is having his penis and testicles removed forever. So how long does therapy, there's got to be a set time. You have to have X amount of sessions for X amount of years before we can sign it off.
Well, this goes back to, first of all, I had the 4 years of therapy, had the breakdown, came out. Back to your question earlier, you asked me when I came out. It was, I came out to my father and my family on Father's Day, 2015.
Oh, you've come out as trans.
Came out as trans, 2015. Had the therapy, made the decision, came out to my family.
What did your dad say about that on Father's Day? How did he react?
Well, we were dancing in the kitchen, and he just...
You thought, I'm going to change the vibe?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I had this... It was so organic. I didn't go there with the intention of doing it.
You just felt I'm in a safe space.
Yeah,
here.
I was in a safe place, and it felt right. And we were dancing in the kitchen. There was a bottle of champagne in the kitchen, and we were just dancing. And I just, at arm's length, and I went, "Dad, I've got something to tell you." And he went, "What is it?" And I went, "I'm transsexual." I didn't say trans. I didn't say trans. I said transsexual. I'm not trans. Trans is, I don't know what that is. And he just looked at me and he went, "Are you happy?" Now, I don't know if my dad fully understood it. Champagne was flowing.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether he understood it, but he said, "Well, that's all right, as long as you're happy." And the day just carried on, and I told my brother, and my brother blurted out, this stays in the fucking family. Nobody else knows about this shit, right? This stays in the family. And then I just turned around and I said, thank you, Lord, I appreciate that. It was really cozy, it was nice. And then...
Did you say, until I transition and go on a podcast?
Right. For the whole world to see, right? Just right out there.
Good on you.
Thank you, babes. Yeah, and they were really receptive to it. And I said, don't worry, I'm not doing anything. And then secretly, I didn't tell them, I'd gone to my doctor and now I'm pushing the charge. I've now gone to my doctor now. I've come out as transsexual, but I've done nothing about it. I've just said the words because I've been at home. Yeah, so that happened.
That's
and then
time to take action.
Right, time to take action. Call to arms, right?
And at what age was you?
Oh, God, how old was I? 2017 was when the transition began. I inquired in 2016, but I got cold feet.
And how old were you in 2017? I know you should never ask a lady their age.
You get in trouble for that.
I know.
They're all over the place.
In your 40s?
Yeah, 40s. Yeah, so it was 2017 the transition began. And I've been to my doctor, got the referral.
And how many therapy sessions was required before you could legally go under the knife?
Well, I had 2.
That's mental.
Right, but also bearing in mind, and I thought about this, I did... Whether I advanced the game, I don't know. I'm not calling it a game, but, where I advanced the process. But I was so sure of who I was at that stage, not a woman, but of who I was or what I was doing. I turned up as a woman. I was dressed as a woman, not a woman. Dressed as, cosplaying as a woman. And I turned up and maybe that stood me in good stead. I don't know.
Because there's got to be people out there that aren't as sure as you, that make a mistake and they have buyer's remorse when they wake up and then they look back and think, well, how much therapy and support did I get?
Of course.
2 therapy sessions is nowhere near
enough
for something so life-changing.
But for me, though...
Thank God it was right for you.
But for me, thank God, I'd had therapy, right? So there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't have had therapy per se, that are going on and having 2 or 3 appointments. How can you gauge that in 2 or 3 appointments? I don't think that's possible.
No way.
Because there's so much going on. This is what I say about self-ID. How is that even allowed? Because the minute you had self-ID, you've opened Pandora's box, right? Because we all know the stats are right. Men generally are perpetrators of sexual crimes, right? We can't deny this, right? They're perpetrators of child sexual crimes, right? So when you've got this is why I don't like being in the T space anymore. I don't want to be associated with any of that. And I feel like we get so much bad press. And that's also why I'm here today, to save some lives, save some kids' lives. And in casting my net wide enough, maybe I can save some young teens and young adults that are confused. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I really want to get stuck into that side of things, but I want to finish. I want to get past the transition.
Sorry, yes.
So that you're...
Right.
You're the other side now. So talk to me about the actual surgery itself before, and then obviously you're put to sleep, and then you wake up and look down. How does it all start?
Well, the truth is, I had to go and see a consultant before I had the surgery. And in my head, I was always thinking, I'm going to get the perfect vagina, right? Because even I drank from the poison woke, trans chalice for a moment. And that stuff is very potent. I believed it. I believed I could be a woman for a minute. So, okay, I've gone in. I've gone in the day before. I'm pumped for the surgery. I've gone in, but I had a labiaplasty, which, for those that don't know, a labiaplasty is where it's just cosmetic. There's no depth. You can't have sex with me. I'm a doll, basically.
What deterred you from having the full, where you get the skin insertion? Inversion.
I didn't have a big enough penis. But I didn't know that. I didn't think it was that small, but but yeah. So my dream was, the illusion was shattered.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now. Okay.
Because when I went for my consultation...
Yeah, you weren't deterred at all, you just couldn't have it.
I couldn't have it.
Right,
but he did say to me, that was my options. So yeah, I took it and I ran with it. And but I have to say, I didn't transition for sex. I've got to put that in there. So anyway... I've gone in, had my surgery, and I've woken up from my surgery after knowing all my options, because I didn't want them to use part of my bowel, Liam. That was one of the options. 2 surgeons operating on me in tandem, using part of my bowel and my penis to construct a fake vagina. Listen, people call it a vagina all day long. It's not a vagina. It's just a reconfigured penis.
That sounds...
Let's not get it twisted, sisters.
Nah.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds like...
It's a lie.
It sounds... And it also sounds like you're begging for an infection.
They do get infections. It does happen. But with my surgery, and I've got to tell you, I swear my mother must have been looking down on me.
Perfect.
I'll be honest with you, I've never been back to the hospital.
How do you go to toilet? How'd you go for a wee?
Well, actually, it's just going back to your question. After I had the surgery...
You woke up.
I woke up. My gender dysphoria was almost silent. Silent, gone, right? And I knew what was going on, even though I was on my little morphine drip, but I didn't feel like a woman when I woke up. I think that's important to know. I didn't feel like a woman. I knew who I was.
And did you hope that you was going to feel like a woman?
I think I always knew I wasn't, but I'd bought into the lie.
And how did that affect you then? Was you still happier than what you were before, or was you more disappointed and you've just now grown to live with it?
Well, it's funny. I was so happy. I didn't even. I registered that I didn't feel any more feminine, or I didn't feel any different than how I felt. But I knew the noise from my gender dysphoria was gone. So whatever had just happened, it fit. And I felt, okay, this is good. This is where I'm supposed to be at. And then after that, they came in 3 days, 3 days later, and they came in and obviously they were checking on me. And they took the wadding out. There wasn't much wadding because there's not a lot of depth. And obviously I had a catheter in, and you can't go home until you've had a wee. So, and also they showed me my vagina. They came in, propped me up, got a mirror out, and there was drains coming out of, my labia majora, labia minora. Anyway, it's all little drains coming out. And I honestly sat there and I looked at it, and even though it was battered and bruised and tattered and torn, I looked and I thought, oh, that's pretty. Even though that's the morphine, isn't it? It's pretty.
It's the drugs talking.
It's not prettier afterwards, I've got to tell you, a lot prettier. But yeah, and then 5 days later I went home. And no dilations, because you've got to dilate if you've got an inversion, or you have to use part of your bowel, your colon, your bowel. So I would have to dilate 4 times a day, and you've got to do it for a year. It's like an earring. You've got to keep it open.
Right.
But with my surgery...
Your body would just heal it up.
Well, yeah, body would heal it up. And a lot of transsexual women that have the surgery, because trans isn't... Let me define this now. Trans isn't... Transsexual, and I said this recently on my ex account, trans implies you're doing something. You're transitioning to something. Not a woman, because we can't transition to a woman. We know this, right? But a lot of women have been forced to buy into the lie that we are women. And I'm probably going to cause a lot of offence by that statement. But you can write as many books as you want, and you can have as many letters after your name. Stop peddling a load of bullshit.
Well, there's nobody more entitled to have this opinion than you. You're pretty qualified.
It's just my truth, Liam. I can't say I'm a woman and take anything away from a woman. I can't. I can't do that. I mean, at the beginning of my transition, and this is the thing I like to say about genuine transsexual women. I'm not going to say gender dysphoria, because we all know I've got it. We all know we've got it. Not all of us. But genuine transsexual women are considerate. They're considerate of women. They're considerate of women's spaces. I would go swimming at a certain place, and I don't want to say where, but I would go, and I would always ask reception for the key to the disabled changing room. Every time. Now, could I have gone in that women's changing room? You bet your ass I could have done. But why would I want to go in there and get my schlong out? Well, not a very big schlong, but why would I want to go in there and do that and make women feel uncomfortable?
It's disrespectful.
Right? It's...
Well, you respect women because you love your mum.
I love my mum. Don't want to be her. I love her. But I don't want to hurt women. Why would I want to hurt something that I want to be? That I would love to have been. You know?
Because if you was a woman, you wouldn't want a man coming in your changing
Right?
rooms.
And I say this, if the shoe was on the other foot, men would not be putting up with this. Men would not be putting up with it. But,
And nor should women. See, I was raised by women, so like I don't like it. And if, fuck me, heaven forbid, if I was outside a changing room my mum was in and a man walked in there, I don't care how much makeup he had on, I would iron him out.
Right.
Fact.
This is a difficult thing about if you knew it was a man.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, blimey, yeah.
Right.
I don't go around ironing women out.
Right. I should hope not. But it's, I don't know, it's, I think listen, I've got 9 mirrors in my house because I counted them this morning, actually. I've got 9 mirrors in my house. And I think people think that I don't know what I look like. I know what I look like. I'm not, I'm not like, I think everybody gets hooked on this glamour and stuff when you're transitioning and getting work done, and they glamorise it. And I don't want, and the effect, and the children.
Before we go to that, I know they're weird to put them, to sort of sandwich them together, but so we finished the transition thing.
Right.
Your clitoris. So you basically, you go to sleep with a libido, you wake up without one.
Well, no, I never had one anyway because the hormones.
Oh, they
I've been
stopped
taking
all
the
that.
hormones. I had the so we go back.
So it was gradual.
It was gradual. So I had the hormone blocker and then the hormones, then the surgery. So I've had no libido.
Oh, so you was eased into it to a certain extent.
Yeah. So I was
very hard to grasp as a man.
Okay, so 2017 started, right? I've had my surgery on the 5th of November 2020. So what's that? 4 years?
Of hormone replacement or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hormone blockers.
Well, 2.5 years of hormones. That's it. That's the length of the journey from the first appointment to surgery was 4 years.
Okay.
So 2.5 years living as a woman.
Yeah.
Just a synopsis.
Because you've got to do that, haven't you?
Right? Yeah, you have to do it. 2.5 years living as a woman, no surgery. And also what I would recommend here, if anyone does have gender dysphoria, those older ladies out there, I would suggest going getting your laser hair removal done before you transition. Top tip. Top tip. Get your laser hair removal done on your face before you transition, because otherwise you're going to be like me, sobbing in the toilet, come 5 o'clock when your shadow's coming through your makeup, not wanting to get in the lift because you know the lights are going to like you. I walked out of work one night crying my eyes out because I went in the toilet and I saw my 5 o'clock shadow. I was broken-hearted, Liam. Gender dysphoria, right there. Right? Oh! Right? Because like, oh! You're trying to portray this image, right? I mean, when I went to work, I wouldn't even use the ladies when I was at work. If I felt that day my outfit wasn't necessarily, I don't know, up to par, I would go in the disabled toilet.
You were battling the beard.
Well, yeah, I was battling the beard and I was going for laser hair removal. But then after that happened, yeah, I was just always using the ladies.
Clitoris, does it work?
Yes.
Does it work?
It does work. I had a surgery.
I mean, it's not a clitoris, is it?
It's not. It's
what is it?
It's the tip of the helmet.
That's what they put there.
It's the tip of the helmet. Or a part of it. Yeah, so the clitoris, it works, but I didn't touch myself for like 18 months. And I tried one night, but it felt weird. I didn't want to touch it. It felt kind of precious. So I stopped. And then about 8-9 weeks ago, I had a girls' party at my apartment in London. 9 of us. And it said on the invitation, fannies only. Fannies only. So the girls came round and a few of us were talking on the couch and they brought up the question of, have I had a little go? And I said, no, I hadn't. So in nearly 4 years, what is it, 4 years? Is it 4 years? 5 years this November. 5 years in November. So I hadn't touched it. And I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. My friends will tell you that. And
you just thought you'd take it steady.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. I just didn't want to touch it. I didn't have no libido, so why would I want to go near it?
Oh, so you've got to force the issue, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Got to prize the arousal out yourself.
Well, right. You've got to try hard. Actually, saying that, my doctor did say to me, "How's my libido?" And I said, -500. And she said, "Do you want some hormones?" I went, "No, thanks."
What, they put estrogen in you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even talk to. I wasn't interested in going down that path because I thought, why would I want to have a libido if I've got nowhere or anyone to release it with?
Okay, so here's a more detailed question. So when you touch yourself when you touch your clitoris,
Right.
or your helmet that's there in place
Yes.
of your clitoris, does that trigger a feeling of sexual arousal?
It does.
Okay.
But it's
So it does work.
it does work. I've only tried it twice. Only after we had that conversation, the girls came round and they said, "Well, have you not tried?" So I gave it a little, not say a bash, but I rubbed the magic lamp and it worked. And I thought, okay, this is nice, but it's
Magic lamp.
you know,
Did the genie appear?
yeah, genie
Shazam.
head, right? It was something I had to do,
Mm.
and I'm glad. Yeah, it works. It's not something that I'm going to be doing on the regular. It doesn't interest me. I'd rather have a cup of tea, Liam, to be honest.
And me too.
Mm.
Now, before we go on to the political side of things, because there's a fair few questions I'd like to fire at you, because I can imagine you've got strong views, because you've made it crystal clear that mental health is being infiltrated by transsexuals.
Yeah,
You feel like your mental health has been hijacked. Is that right?
yeah. You don't identify as trans. That's nonsense. Utter nonsense. You identify as gender dysphoric. That's it, period. I don't know what all this trans stuff is about. And also, this is what, a lot of these people are uneducated, Liam.
It must feel great owning your truth like that.
I thought it was fabulous.
That must be a nice feeling, because nothing's weighing you down.
No, not at all.
Like, pretending is shit.
Yeah,
you're never
horrible.
going to feel free if you're pretend. I really admire your approach to this whole thing.
Thank you, Liam. I appreciate that, I do.
It's pretty fucking serious. Yeah, it's no joke at all.
Well, I think what it is for me, I just don't want to, I'm sick and tired of the lies being peddled that, listen, you can be as pretty as you want. And I don't want to mention names because they'll probably come for me, but I don't know. I mean...
You got to keep it real.
Yeah, okay. I don't understand why you'd want to get your penis. Okay? When women with penises are getting awards. I don't get that.
Oh, I see. So you're meaning if you're going to flirt around with the idea, either do it or don't.
Shit, I'll get off the pot. Right? Because whatever that is, I don't know what that is. And I don't mean to be cruel, because, something you can be the prettiest chick in the room, but if you put with a chick with a dick, sorry, I don't mean to be offensive, but a chick with a dick, that's probably going to offend a few people, but it is what it is, and that's what people describe, and it sounds offensive, but it's offensive to me that you're trying to take, I don't want to say my moniker, but I'm being lumped in with someone that I've got real gender dysphoria, and that thing there, it's offensive to me, because having a penis to me is so like gender dysphoric. It's like, I dealt with it, but to me it's like, but what are you taking away from women, right? You're standing up there with a dick, and there's women there that should have got that award. I think for me it goes back to like Conchita Wurst. Do you remember he won the Eurovision Song Contest?
Oh,
the bearded
yes.
lady.
Yes.
Beautiful bearded lady.
Very beautiful man, very handsome lady.
Handsome lady, right? Beautiful man, handsome lady, right?
I mean, that was a fucking hell of a beard.
Wasn't it? But I don't get that.
Shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't be allowed, because you're messing your gender bending. And I don't understand that. And it all goes back to like the AGP, the fetishist transvestites. Why would anybody of sound mind want to call themselves trans? You wake up, you dye your hair blue, get a piercing, say I'm trans. Why would you want to lump yourself in with that? Because you're probably gay or lesbian. This is the truth of it. And this goes back to the children thing, because they're playing with fire. This isn't something to be toyed with.
Let me move on to the children now you've said that. So there's two TikTokers that I have seen pop up time and time again. Both of them I'm fucking shell-shocked by. One of them in particular, if I was to meet him, I couldn't guarantee what I would do to him, because he's pushing the trans ideology and everything is, hey kids, and he even asks parents that follow him to pass their phone to their children so he can talk directly to their children. There's men dressed as women asking parents to talk to their children, and parents are allowing it. Just go for broke on that. You must know who these two people are. Dylan
Mulvaney.
And who's the other?
Jeffrey Marsh.
That's...
Monster.
Oh.
monster. I mean, Dylan Mulvaney.
How do we stop these people?
I don't know how we do it.
How do we warn parents of these people? What do you think? What do you think of these people as a trans woman, but a man?
I think they're monsters. Dylan Mulvaney is just a gay theatre boy, bitchy theatre boy, apparently, allegedly, but has just done it for clicks. Because you look back, and when he first started, Dylan Mulvaney, he did Days of Girlhood. Days of Girlhood. Aren't you a man?
Yeah, what the fuck would you know about girlhood?
Why are you supposed to be a woman? Why you think girlhood? I'm like, it's almost like it seems, and it goes back to the pervy, the infiltration of like grifters and groomers all getting in on the space. And I'm like, I don't want to be part of this community. It does not represent me.
Because that's perverse.
Right, totally.
An adult talking to a child on that kind of level,
right?
It's a monstrous perversion.
But I've also got a bigger question. Why would you pass your phone to Jeffrey Marsh? I've got a bit. I question those parents' mental health.
They need looking into, the parents.
100%. I think there's something going on there.
Well, they're not of sound mind.
No, they can't be. But they've drunk from the woke chalice. They've all drunk and they think, yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing the best by my child. Bullshit, are you? You're damaging your child for life.
Once that shit starts creeping in.
Right.
And they may not really be feeling that.
Of course, this goes back to like...
They may get tricked into thinking that's how they feel.
Okay, imagine you're... I mean, I've got to tell you right now, thank fuck, I never transitioned as a child. Because I wouldn't have had a life, Liam. I would not have had a life. I would have been picking up the crumbs of a life, which is what a lot of these detransitions are going to be doing. They're going to realise that one day they were climbing trees with their brothers because they climbed a tree. They got transitioned. Oh, you're climbing trees. You're okay. Tits off. Cut her tits off. Right. All right. You're playing with Barbies. All right. Cut the cock off. Do you know what I mean? It's like, stop it. Let kids be kids. And I'm so against the trans ideology. I hate it. I despise it.
Well, this is what got my attention.
I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
You want to protect children from
100%.
From this ideology.
100%.
And who better than an actual trans woman?
Well, let's just hope they listen, Liam. Let's just hope they listen.
Because
a lot of them are like that. They don't want to hear it, the liberals. They're like, ugh.
Realistically, because of social media and the power of it and how quick, like, shit sticks and stuff spreads, from your experience, because you've probably looked at this a lot more than me, like, are our kids in danger?
I believe so, yeah. 100%.
Does that mobile phone or iPad put them in immediate danger?
All day long. There's predators waiting in the rings. They're on TikTok. They're all over the place. You've got your Jeffrey Marshes, and if you've got Jeffrey Marsh, you can times that by 100. They're all out there affirming children. I mean, I saw one yesterday. Pretty girl, because we see what we see. And this all goes down to the misgendering shit, right? Because we see what we see. We eat with our eyes, right? You see a boy, you say, hi, how are you doing, sir? Well, we know what I mean. It's like, hi, miss, hi, it's what we do. And then those people kick off when you misgender them. Well, it's not my fault that you look like a girl. And I'm going to call you, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's got so twisted on itself. And it's like, I feel like there's some crazy man somewhere, like in the James Bond films, sitting somewhere stroking a white cat going, ha, 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 laughing at the West. Do you know what I mean?
We're taking over. Well,
right?
if you think TikTok it's a Chinese platform, so this is my observation. So I've made videos in the past, like basically absolutely slamming men that dress up as women that think they can go into female spaces, be it prisons, play basketball against them, certainly box, anything like that disrespects and invades a woman's space. Respectfully, I have challenged it. And when I've uploaded videos, like I've ranted against the trans community on TikTok, it's been removed, and I'm talking like that. Yet in the next scroll, I've got this transgender guy, woman, whatever the fuck he is, telling me if I've got a child to pass my phone to them. So TikTok, they will cancel anything derogatory you say about the trans ideology movement, but if you're pushing or promoting it, it stays there in the ether.
Well, actually, I do agree with you, because I think I was shadow banned on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok anymore, by the way.
Because you were anti-trans?
Oh, yeah, I was going in hard. And I thought, so these aren't getting... and also I was going hard on other things at that time. But yeah, it was... I got shadow banned on TikTok because of it. So I think there's I don't know. There's something dark and nefarious going on here, and it doesn't sit well with me at night, Liam. I go to bed and I think about this so often. I'm like, what is going on? Why are they trying to get to the kids, right? Because I had a childhood. You had a childhood, right? We got great memories of our childhoods. Mine was like Enid Blyton. Forget the child abuse. And I always say this. My childhood was like Enid Blyton, Swallows and Amazons. Do you know what I mean? It was so glorious, my childhood.
You got a good fucking attitude, you.
Well, I try, Liam, because I've got good memories and I don't want to dwell on the shit because it doesn't do any good. And I'm bigger than that. I mean, of course I think about it occasionally. I might have a little. Actually, I don't really cry about it anymore. Not at all, really, that often. But
I still have a cry from time to time, and I've not even transitioned.
yeah, it's good to have a little cry. It's a good release, right? Good release.
You
Good
got to
release.
do it.
It's a good release.
You'll implode otherwise.
Yeah.
I sort of get the feeling that you're going to keep talking out against the trans ideology. Are you worried that you'll be a target for the government?
I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you.
I didn't think you would.
I know, I've got to be frank. I don't really give a shit because I feel the children are more important.
Yes.
Because I would love to have had a child, Liam.
As a mum or a dad?
As a mum, obviously. As a mum, I'd want to be that mama bear my mum was. Yeah. I don't want to be my mum, by the way. Don't get it twisted. Right, because they're going to. No, I know. I would love to have had a child of my own. And how can I sit at home and let all this nonsense go on and sleep soundly? And this is why I'm here, because I want to sleep better at night.
Well, I'll tell you something, and I hope people have made it as far as we are into the interview now, but I am grateful beyond belief of what you're doing. Like, I'm really thankful. Like, that's the only thing that keeps me up at night is the thought of a child being hurt.
Yeah.
I don't really care about a great deal, but that, I suppose it will stem back from my childhood and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But the thought of a child being just hurt, polluted, poisoned, brainwashed, and, consequently having a terrible fucking life is awful. And to think that you're out there, like, pushing back against the trans ideology and you are actually transsexual is fucking power to you. I hope other people see the star in you.
First of all, thank you for that. But I'm not here for me. This is bigger than me. And of course, I've had a crisis of conscience, about coming here and stepping on that hill. It's like, but this is a hill I'm willing to die on. Because if they're willing to die on that hill, I'm willing to die on mine. I'm not left. I'm not right, Liam. I'm correct. Period.
Yeah, I'll make you right. Anybody that wants to stand up and put their cock on the block, no pun intended.
Non-existent cock on the block.
Yeah, to protect children, they get my vote because there's too many people that don't give a shit. And there's
It feels that way. And
there's too many people that pretend they care, and they fucking don't.
Yeah, they don't. They don't care.
And social media's full of them rats.
The parents are downstairs in the lounge, right? Kids upstairs. They think the child's safe. You've got to really parent these days. You've got to parent. You've got to lock down their devices. It's time to parent. Again, is that going to be controversial for me saying that? We can't keep our kids out all the time. They're exposed to so much. Well, parent more.
And do you think this is a conscious thing that whoever's pushing the trans ideology, you think they're purposefully coming for your kids?
I think there's something going on. There's something happening. Because when I look at the landscape and I think if we keep going at this trajectory, what does the landscape look like for women and girls and little boys, right? How does that look? That looks very scary to me.
This is the most insane moment in time I can ever remember, and I could never ever have predicted in my wildest dreams just how mad the world would actually be, the West in particular.
Yes. I feel like I had my head in the sand, because when you're transitioning, and I know this has been going on for years, but when you're transitioning, you sort of bury your head in the sand, and
you're in your own thoughts.
You're in your own thoughts. You're doing your own thing. And I feel like I woke up one day and self-ID had happened. I'm like, how the fuck did I miss that? So that's where that needs to be repealed, self-ID. That was the government being lazy.
What do you think on whole needs to be done in the trans...
This is the question.
Yeah, if you was president of the trans community, what would your manifesto be?
I think you can't call yourself trans unless you're transitioning. I don't think you should have any right calling yourself trans, period. Because I think, you're gay, you're lesbian, you're something else. I don't know. I mean, the other day I heard someone say, I'm a lesbian, non-binary trans person. Figure that out for a second.
Yeah, make up your fucking mind.
Lesbian, non-binary. Somebody shoot me, please. I'm like, seriously? And then you've got to think about the other one. So you've got, you tell me this isn't perverted, right? You've got a man self-IDing as a woman, as a lesbian, with a penis, going into a woman's bar.
It gets very complicated. I think it's purposely done that way. To baffle you with bullshit, so you're just like, okay, you can have it.
But imagine being a lesbian.
You'd be furious.
I'd be, of course you would, right? They've had lesbian bars shut down in New York because saying they were transphobic. What? And so I think someone even said, I heard someone say, it was on a Reddit thread or something. Well, at least they're getting the real deal. They're mucking about with plastic and rubber. I'm like, well, that's the whole idea, honey, right? They want a woman on the end of that strap on, not you, right? That's the difference, right? And they have every right to be lesbians in their safe space without this pervert, creep, I don't know what it is, getting into their space, right? I think women are under attack. And they have every right to have their safe spaces. But back to the changing room things, I think this is a difficult one, the toilets. It's so difficult. I don't know how you do it.
The logistics of it.
Yeah.
It's got to be what you do. Can I have the key to the disabled toilets, please?
It can be that, but I'm a firm believer. If you've got a penis, 100%, you've got no right being in the ladies' toilet, right? If you pass, see, this is why it's so difficult with the toilet thing. If you pass and you've got a penis, how am I going to know? And then you go into the little changing room cubicle, shut the door and you get changed and go swimming. I'm never going to know, right? The problem comes with passing. Now, this is a very delicate topic.
And what do you mean by passing?
Passing means if you look less feminine. Sound, look.
Oh, I see. So if I was to say to you, do you think you pass, your answer would be based on whether you think you could actually pass as being a woman without being challenged?
Without being clocked, right? So you're in a bar having a drink, if someone clocks you. I mean, some days in my delusional head, I think I can get away with that. I mean, even on the way here today.
You thought, cool, what a salt in the reflection.
Right? Don't get embarrassed. No, I never think that. I'm never that kind of high up on myself. But when I got out of the taxi today, the taxi driver said, "Oh, you're a lovely lady."
But that made your day, didn't it?
Well, we live for those moments. That's what we live for.
That's what you've been fighting for your whole life, or fighting against one or the other.
When I hear that, I'm like, oh, ping. It's like music to my ears. It's lovely.
What about the others, like the downside of being a transsexual? Do you get any grief when you're out and about? Because people are cruel, people are ignorant.
Yeah. At the beginning of anyone's transition, you're trying to find your feet. You're trying to do your makeup. You're trying to I was using Dermacol when I first started out. Dermacol's very thick stage makeup. I was using that. It's No, it was. I've had a few people spit on me. I've had fights on public transport, which is why I don't get public transport anymore. I don't do it.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, once bitten, twice shy. I can't. It's like running the gambit.
Yeah.
And
you've done all of this to be happy.
Yeah.
So be happy.
Yeah, but something, I am really happy. But I can only influence what's around me. I can't influence anybody else. And I think that's why I won't get public transport anywhere, because I don't
want to risk it.
I don't want to risk it.
Do you know what? If your social media or your public profile, because if you're going to speak out against it, your profile is going to raise. You may find that once people are familiar with you and your story and realise that you're actually on their team, things may change for you out there. And I hope it does.
Thank you, Liam.
I mean that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you will be noticed after this.
Okay.
And I'm pretty confident you'll know exactly how to deal with people. Kind people and ignorant people.
Yes, I mean, I don't want to deal with any ignorant people, and to be honest with you, I haven't got time to debate this with adults when it comes to the children. I'll debate anything else with you.
Yeah.
But you're adults. You can do whatever you want, but when it comes to the kids, I'm not going to get into a forum. I'm not going to debate with you.
It's non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable. Kids are kids. Leave them alone. It's off the table, right? What is it? Your brain doesn't fully form until you're 25. So let's just start there as a baseline, right? Leave kids alone. Even young adults are vulnerable to the social contagion of the trans ideology, because it is a social contagion. There's so much going on here to be unpicked. And I think it's time we started to unpick it and say, no, But the difficult, back to the toilet thing, I'm going swimming in a couple of weeks. My friend's invited me. She's joined a new, I think is it David Lloyd?
Yep.
Yeah, David Lloyd. And they got an outdoor pool. And she said, Samantha, let's go swimming. So I'm going to be doing that in the coming weeks when it gets a bit warmer.
What will you wear?
All in one. Ruched, all in one. I wouldn't wear a bikini. I've got the body for it now.
Don't fancy a G-string and nipple tassels in?
Oh, no, thanks. I'll leave that to the perverts and creeps out there that would do that probably because they could, right?
Fuck me. Nothing surprises me
Right.
now. Nothing shocks me.
Right.
Nothing.
No, actually, some little things do shock me. Not a lot.
Oh, nothing does
No,
now.
not a lot.
But I fucking speak to...
Yes.
I hear some horror stories across the board. I mean...
It hardens you, doesn't it? It hardens you.
Yeah. It sort of crushes your heart at the time, but then if you don't grow... I don't know, calluses around your fucking soul, then you're just going to end up a sad soul.
Yes. That's why, I'm in a good place I am today. I am blessed. I've got a wonderful family, wonderful friends, colleagues that have become friends, me and a girlfriend who I work with currently. We're going away for the weekend with me and her daughter. And also, again, the transsexual thing. After a while, people don't see the transsexual in you. They don't. Even my friends say to me,
I can't see the transsexual in you. And we've been sat here for like a couple of hours.
Thank you, Liam.
Yeah,
it's really sweet.
You're just a human being.
Thank you.
Very much like races. It's like, I just see a human. And people like to conflate and twist and shit stir and misconstrued and all the rest of it just to create tension and divide. Right. And I want to get this in here now before I ask you what the future holds for you and one other thing. But if you've made it this far and you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to this channel. I don't say this on every episode, but some are more important than others. And you'd never, ever get to hear a story like Sam's unless you're following somebody on YouTube that's happy to sit with someone and listen to someone else's story and talk to someone very, very different to ourselves, because not everyone is pro-trans, pro-pushing it on children. Right. We've got someone here championing the pushback on the trans ideology.
100%.
So if you don't like and subscribe, and look, maybe not just mine, maybe somebody else's, but just look at alternative media, because the mainstream want you pushing the trans ideology, the madness, and we're trying to protect the children.
Alternate media all day long.
And where can people find you?
I'm only on X, and it's Samantha GC Plested.
Would you like us to put your tag in the description?
Please do.
Okay, so you can find Sammy's tag in the description.
Any children want to contact me, I won't be talking with them.
Mum or dad?
Mum or dad, you contact me, not the children, because we need to talk about this and shut it down. They need their childhoods back, and that's it, bottom line. Non-negotiable, I'm done.
I agree. Well, I wish you nothing but happiness, and I'm right behind you. With the pushback on the trans movement and the fucking twisted ideology and the way it seems to have taken over.
Yes.
And it'd be interesting because you can come back to that question I asked you, which I'll leave it on this note here. In a year's time, once you've been in this space pushing back, and God knows what's going to happen the next year of your life, but the next time you come back, I will ask you, if you was the Prime Minister of the trans movement, what would your manifesto be? So you've got a year to think about it, because I'll ask you back.
I accept that challenge. Okay, I'll think about that.
Sammy?
Liam?
It's been a joy.
Thank you so much.
I admire your strength. I appreciate you trusting me enough to share your story with me.
Thank you.
And, I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you very much, Liam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good elf.
Thank you, sorry.